The settlement of Iceland would prove to only be the beginning of Nordic exploration in the North Atlantic. Soon, the exploration would continue further to the west, to what we today know as Greenland. Under the leadership of Erik the Red, the subject of today's video, settlements were established. But who was Erik the Red, and what role did he play in the exploration of the North Atlantic? Erik the Red was born in Rogaland, Norway, around the year 950 AD as the son of Thorvald Osvaldsson. At birth, he was given the name Erik Thorvaldsson, but he would later be called Erik the Red because of his red hair and beard. Erik moved to Iceland when he was about 10 years old, since his father had been banished as punishment for committing manslaughter. They would settle in Hornstrandir, Iceland's most northern peninsula. Erik's father, Thorvald, would pass away before the year 970 AD, after which Erik would marry Thjóhild Jorundsdottir and move to Haukadalr. Erik the Red, together with his wife, would father at least 3 children. They were Leif Eriksson, who would discover North America and whose life will be covered in the next video, as well as Thorvald and Thorstein. He might also have had a daughter, Freydis, who is described as either Leif's full sister in the saga of the Greenlanders or half-sister in the saga of Erik the Red. Erik the Red would follow in his father's footsteps by getting himself exiled from Iceland for murder. Around the year 982 AD, Erik's slaves caused a landslide on a neighboring farm owned by Valthjof, for which they were killed by Valthjof's kinsman Eyjolf the Foul. In retaliation, Erik the Red killed Eyjolf the Foul. For this crime, Erik the Red would be punished with exile from Haukadalr. He would move to Brukkey and Öxney Islands in western Iceland. However, he returned to Haukadalr to retrieve personal possessions that his father had brought from Norway and that he had asked a man named Thorjest to keep for him. Thorjest refused to return the possessions to Erik the Red, but he took them anyway. Thorjest and his men gave chase, and in the ensuing confrontation, both of Thorjest's sons would be killed, among others. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Erik the Red would be punished with exile from all of Iceland for 3 years. Erik the Red would now travel west to Greenland. He was, however, not the first Norseman to set foot on Greenland. That honor fell to Gunnbjörn Ulfsson, also a Norwegian settler in Iceland that was blown off course while sailing from Norway to Iceland. His discovery would be followed by an attempt to settle Greenland by Snæbjörn Galti Holmsteinsson that failed because of internal strife. Snæbjörn was killed and the surviving settlers returned to Iceland. This did not dissuade Erik the Red, and he set sail for Greenland in the beginning of his exile around the year 982 AD. He rounded Cape Farewell on the southern tip of the island and continued sailing along the western coast. Erik the Red and his followers settled on an island at the mouth of the Eriksfjord. From there, they would continue exploring the coast for approximately 2 years. Erik would choose the inner area of the Eriksfjord as the home of his manor house, which he named Brattalid, or Steep Slope in English. Erik the Red was also the man who gave the island the name Greenland in the belief that this would help attract settlers. In 985 or 986 AD, Erik the Red returned to Iceland at the end of his exile. There, he would spread stories of Greenland to gather potential settlers. This succeeded, and Erik the Red would set sail to Greenland with 25 ships, and 400 to 500 people would settle in the colony. All was not sunshine and rainbows, however. 11 of the 25 ships either had to turn back or were lost at sea. Initially, 2 settlements would be established, the eastern settlement in modern-day Qaqortoq and the western settlement near modern-day Nuuk. Later, a 3rd settlement, the middle settlement, would also be established. These settlements were located in what would prove to be the only part of Greenland suitable for agriculture. To supplement agriculture, each settlement would send an army of men north to the Disco Bay during the summer to hunt for food and other valuable things like walrus ivory, beached whales, and seals. Erik the Red was given the title of Paramount Chieftain of Greenland and became both respected and wealthy as a result of the settlement of Greenland. The news of the success of Erik the Red and the other initial settlers would soon spread back to Iceland. This news, in combination with Iceland being overcrowded during these times, led to more settlers leaving Iceland for Greenland, and the population would grow from the hundreds to the thousands. The later settlers would also bring Christianity with them. Erik the Red's wife and their son Leif would both convert to this new faith, while Erik remained a staunch Norse pagan. His wife would even commission Greenland's first church. The arrival of new settlers did not only bring positives. In 1002 AD, a new group of settlers arrived and they brought an epidemic with them. This epidemic spread and caused many deaths among the settlers, including Erik the Red, who passed away around the year 1003 AD. He would be succeeded as paramount chieftain by his son Leif Erikson, whose life will be covered in the next video. The death of Erik the Red would not be the end of his colony, which would survive until the Little Ice Age in the 1400s.